Okay, Twitch is trolling me as per usual, so I'm just going to assume we're live. Bergie indeed. Hello, Radira.
Oh, Burgi.
I did not improve the stream quality this week. I was lazy. I could have added music properly, but I did not set up my audio because I was not doing it yesterday. So maybe week 4 we'll have another we'll have another stream
Wait,
improvement.
how many weeks have the early? Has 5 or 6?
6, right? And then the adjustment week and then playoffs, I think.
Oh, wait, you have 6 weeks plus adjustment weeks plus?
I think that's what season 4 is.
Oh, I didn't remember. I don't remember.
Where is the Where's the info guide? 5 weeks plus adjustment. All right, whatever. I was close enough.
Okay.
I'm not staff. I don't know what I'm talking about.
No, no, no. I am just. I am part of the staff. Yeah, but I always remember. My
Man,
memory is like blah, 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 blah.
that means I have to play next week. Damn it. I thought there were 6 weeks. I wasn't going to play next week, but now I have to. All
Wait,
right.
why you have to?
Because I need to play 5 matches to qualify for playoffs. And I assume I'm being forced to play an adjustment week match, so I don't know if that would count
Yeah.
towards my 5 or not.
You know what? My brain just stopped working. Wait, I need to remember that. Okay. The regulars this time, what's the rankings phase?
Uh,
Oh yeah, true. Yeah, you need to play 5 matches during the 5 weeks.
yes, so
That
an
means
average an average of 1 a week, but you could play up to 10 really. One match. Yes. Submit. If you are top 6, you don't play during relegations week. Dude, I don't read the rules. I still have to play a match regardless, though, to
in
qualify,
fact,
anyways. So
in fact, I think if you don't are like in the top two and last two of each division,
mm-hmm.
you don't need to play. The next week is so oof, but we are going to talk after that. That is so oof.
Okay. It is now time to start the Inside Line Bingo Talk Show. Hello, everyone.
Oh,
I'm Deathline, your host, alongside Yato, the other host. Hello, Yato.
hello.
Week 3 was absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
Absolutely crazy. Lots of things going on in week 3. Big
Destroy the
week.
breads.
My preds were sobbing hard, and I'm still somehow tied second.
After this
Uh,
week, the best accuracy in breads are like 60 something percent, and thinking about that is like, wow, what
yeah.
happened?
Okay, so as per usual, we'll be starting off with. We'll be reviewing all the matches of the week, starting with the ones. We're going down chronologically, and then we will be skipping the highlight matches of the week that we want to highlight, and then we'll go back through at the end and do those ones a little bit more in depth. So starting off, we're going to be doing me versus Peaches in Invasion, which this match was a travesty to watch at the end. Um, this
What
card,
was your experience?
this card kind of sucked. I'm not gonna lie. None of the bases really felt that good. Um, so both Peaches and I saw the start of 16 Piano Blues into 4 Piano Shines in column 2, into 200s, into Pianta hundreds, and then column 4 just sucks to work out of, other than like 2 Gelato Hiddens.
Hmm.
Um, I ended up winning 16 Piano Blues by maybe a second.
Gamer,
Because
speed winning.
I technically did like the rush route where you get the moon blue early and then like finish on the other side of the village. Um,
Hmm.
so I ended up just winning that goal by like a second, and then I got all these clicks, which was cool. So it's like cool. I'm up 4 goals right now. I had zero game plan from here on out because column 1 was not great. It wasn't bad, but it was like kind of hard to work out of, and I just had no game plan. Um, I started setting up kind of stuff. Peaches went and did 5 bluebirds, 2 Jolly Hiddens, and 50 totals, and 3 fruit ladies. Which this kind of like 50 totals kind of like shot my route down because I wasn't expecting Peaches to just straight rush 50 totals. Hello, Jeff. So at this point in time, I probably should have considered stealing 15 Delfino Blues, but I was not considering that. I was too focused on doing 6 from 2 at this point and trying to set up. Um, so 6 from 2, Peaches goes and gets 15 Delfino. I don't know what I'm doing at this point, so I just hard commit Piano Shadow Mario and leave up 9 pipes. Because this entire like column 5 of 5 bluebirds, 9 pipes, and Piano Shadow Mario is just like all Pianta, which we both started Pianta, which I figured we both started
Hmm.
Pianta anyways. Um, and it just kind of went downhill from there. Peaches got 10 yellow button coins. I went and got 12 Noki blues because I figured I was going to be super losing to 4 secrets at this rate. Um, and like by the time this came around, I was just like, man, I really need 26 shines, otherwise I lose this match. But I had like negative way to cross column 3 at the time. So, and I had like negative way to cross column 2 at the time, and I had like no way to cross column 1 at the time. So, I did 12 Noki into 13 Delfino, and I was trying to do pin hundreds. Got sniped to that because Peaches went and did 75 totals into pin hundreds. And then I was like, well, that's kind of pain. And now I got to do 7 chance and secrets. Uh,
And at that point, yeah.
and then all these clips
Yeah.
came. I got 4 secrets. Peaches got 5 red, 7 signs of secrets, 26. And yeah, I kind of ignored 5 reds a little too hard. I didn't, it just like wasn't in my route, but I also could have just done 3 Delfino reds and then figured it out from there. Maybe even with like Pianta 5R and like Pianta 8. But I just like straight ignored it too hard, and then I got punished for not doing that because I still wasn't set up for 2 secrets 1 level, like in the slightest. So lost that goal, and then I spent the next like 5 minutes fooling around throwing, and then I was very close to doing GBS, and then I failed, and I FF.
Yeah, I think like this match was most having like the result being of not setuping for stuff for later.
Yeah, I don't.
Especially like the column 2 and column 3 are like a little crazy to like pass.
Yeah, I kind of needed to
Uh,
commit gelato, but I was too scared of it because I really thought Peaches was
mhm,
gonna do it because Peaches had two gelato hidden the entire match.
mhm,
I,
mhm,
I figured Peaches would just like maybe not completely rush pin hundreds or seven strengths and secrets, and I just got to kind of get owned because I just like spooked myself away from four gelato,
yeah.
which I could have done it very easily and then figured out a way because I had 26 shines for probably like 10 minutes longer than Peaches did. I had so many shines. It was ridiculous. And Peaches had like nothing because they were just doing straight setup the entire
Mhm.
match. So yeah, 12-9 FF. That happened. That was
No,
pain.
yeah,
I don't know if column one was
that
bait, but it was like I just did not play out of it correctly at all. So,
no, I think that okay, it's not that column one was the best thing of the life, you know.
mm-hmm.
Uh, but this base with the column two and column three goals, like you need a good setup too.
Yeah, I also got scared of Pinna. I thought Peaches was like super in Pinna, like doing four secrets and two from one
Hmm.
early, so I ignored it, and then I kind of needed Pinna in the end, so that was also a misplay.
Yeah. But anyway,
Yeah. After that, we had Tober versus MD Mason 85 in lockout. Mason taking the victory 13-11. This match was kind of ridiculous. Um, Mostly because
what do you
Mason
mean?
Mason got away with incredibly greedy delays and it just did not get punished. Um, so they both started with a really like exactly the same 15M graffitis route, and then Mason like finally went to Pianta hundreds to commit 15M graffitis when Tober like was still in Rico setting up for Rico hidden. So Mason finally won that goal, and then Tober gets that. Mason gets that. Mason went to counter Pinna here with this Gelato Serena play, and this 10 yellow buttons click, Mason was delaying by an entire Serena whenever plus doing Manta and like clicking on Shine Get when Tober was sitting in Pinna 3 right next to the button. But Tober was too focused on blues and thought blues, 16 Pinna blues was more at risk than 10 yellow button coins because
Oh.
thinking Mason's always going to do blues, which is mostly true most of the time.
Hmm.
So that goal didn't get punished. And then, so there's that click. Two secrets, one level. Tober barely won this goal, but ended up opting to delay it. And then, like 5 seconds later, Mason clicks it in Serena. And it was like, at the time, like Tober kind of didn't know Mason was in Serena, but like four unique also kind of implies Manta at that point in the match when you're seeing 10 yellow button coins. And like, I mean, I guess there is a chance it was Pinna, but like, regardless, I feel like you still should click two circuits one level. I don't know if I'm just like now still post roasting Tober about this, but I think the delay was kind of unreasonable. So
I think at the point of the delays, maybe
also
you
when
can
you're,
thought that
it's
was a type of, I don't know, gelato play, weird play, stuff
mm-hmm,
like that.
it's 2-5, and like it's never good playing from behind. Like there are some
Hmm.
smart delays you can do when you're behind, but like kind of spooky in my opinion to delay that kind of goal when you see four uniques.
It's
Like
always
you
buggy.
can't. I don't think you can't risk that kind of
Hmm.
type of
No,
thing. So that goal got punished, and then kind of from there it was just like Tober was forced into committing two hidden one level in Pinna when Mason could have done it in Serena, which then that was kind of Mason's game plan from winning two thirds one level. So Tober got committed to doing that, and then finished out 8 from 1 in Pinna. Had three hit-ins, went off to Noki, got that. Mason delayed six pipes for like a bajillion years, and then winded Sandbird Blues, 12-4. October got 26, 8 Delfino. Mason won 3 Rockets. October got 13 Delfinos. Mason got 70 totals. Flades. October had Wood Pipe. lily pad, and then was off doing gelato hundreds, and then Mason committed 5 Bianco. And it was like it was really close. If Tober just like did yellow button and also just clicked two secrets one level.
No, but in case that Tabor did click like two secrets in one level,
I think Tober
the race
wins
was
this.
ill.
Yeah, I think Tober wins this
Mm-hmm.
because they had they I don't know if they did Noki one, but I think Tober would have ended up winning Eel regardless.
I don't
Um,
remember if Mason did like you
oh,
one.
Mason didn't even have Pinna like open. Actually, Pinna was there open, but like Mason didn't even unlock Pinna,
Yeah.
so there was that lead. So that's still like a minute if you you go and do honey skip. Oh, probably like 30 seconds, but 40 seconds, but that's still a
Alright.
lot. So yeah, Mason just kind of found the route that worked around Pinna really hard on this card, and then didn't get punished for a couple of delays there. So really good match overall by Mason, though. Well played for the route around Pinna. Um,
Macy is doing some six delays. Like I remember one scream that was this week that he made like a quadruple click and I was like, what? I was against you.
yeah, it was against me. Mason is a gamer.
Ah, oh yeah, that was amazing. Yeah, yeah. Mason is a gamer. Mason is pretty good.
Um,
So the next match,
Mason
no,
played a
this
double
one,
header that day, back to
yeah,
back,
yeah.
and ended up taking it in row control over Despin 3-2. Um, no, actually, I want to come back to this one. This is one of our highlight
Yeah, I
matches.
don't want to say.
We'll come
I
back
was
to that
like,
one.
wait, nah.
So after that, we had Brengos versus Jukatox in row control. This match was, I'm not gonna lie, kind of hard to watch. This was a travesty, in my opinion. Just like in the sense of like how the card could have been played and then how it was played. And it's not like I'm blaming anyone, and I don't want to be like, oh, you should have done this. I'm trying to control your route because that's just kind of rude, and it's not how bingo should be played. But like, if you ignore, so you remove all that, right? There's Serena hidden in row 5. There's 18 Serena in row 4. The Serena hundreds there as well. You have 8 Serena up in row 3. Um, and then you have 18 lives up in row 1. So Serena is like really, really strong here. 2 secrets, 1 level down in row 4 or in row 5 as well. So Serena here wins like most of the card, and then you got to do like a little bit of extra work here and there. Juka went the non-Serena route with like Bianco, Rico, into Pinna kind of play. Bread did 8 Serena and did not touch Serena for the rest of the game. And like had all
That is
this
a
like
gamer decision.
had all this like Serena value just sitting there waiting, and it just never came. So early game we see all this. I want to stop like right here. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 goals to 2. Brett has cooked 8 Serena Blues and 7 Pinna Beach Blues, or 4 Fruities, which is Pinna Beach Blues at this point. And Juka had spent all the time doing like Bianco, Rico, and then when got enemies and links and was like really set up. And then uh, Brett is like winning Pinna pretty nicely here. Does Pinna hundreds, kind of like the lead's kind of shrinking now, but was still ahead to 2 secrets 1 level in Pinna. Was doing EYG, got this like awkward bonk off the invisible wall, and was doing the low carry across
Mm-hmm.
the death zone. And when you do that, you kind of run the risk of like instant zipping when the block disappears or hits the
Oh, yeah.
edge. And
Mm-hmm.
Brett instant zipped down and died. So I lost 2 secrets 1 level because of that.
Wow. But
So
it's better than soft lock,
which
so that's fine.
which in turn, Brad then was in the lead for lily pad no pipe clips, did it, delayed it, lost the goal. um, and then got
The
6
delays
from,
have taken name.
yeah, got 6 from 2 with Delfino, Pinna, got 6 Pin Shines, 6 from 2, all that fun jazz. Finally went and got 18 Serena Blues. And like at this point in time, by like here ish, both players have 3 uniques. And nobody is doing the 4th unique. It's like right there. And eventually Juka finally commits it. And it's like, and I've already had this discussion with Bread, but it's like, Bread didn't want it for like anything in row 5, which is fine. But by
Mhm.
just doing like PD or whatever it was, maybe Rika 1, for your 4th unique, you instantly force Juka to commit to 2 slower goals in row 5 to close it out. Which is a fine tactic in row control, in my opinion, to do a good goal to keep a kind of a chokehold or a bottleneck on the pace the player can take with some of the other goals. Um, but eventually Juka got 4 uniques. And then Bread had this like super insane narrow win con with Serena hundreds, 300s, and 15 Delfino Shines / Delfino Rocket. Right there.
That is a gamer route, I think. Collecting. I'm proud that the Handos plays made the game here.
And it
It's
kind
not normal.
of like I don't know where it went wrong for Juka necessarily because Juka was really set up, but I think
Mhm.
like both players just like ignored Serena a little too hard in review. Um, I think Juka took some untimely deaths as well here and there, if I'm remembering correctly. And then it kind of just became a Delfino race, which Bread was significantly in the lead for at the end.
Oh.
Although it became a little close because Bread ended up doing like Tall Grass and Right Bell for their last 2 shines instead of like Bianco 1 or Gelato Hidden or like any fast level shine. And it got a little
Yeah.
close for comfort, but Bread was still ahead by more than enough.
Mhm.
So, interesting card, I have to say.
Yeah, the game was interesting in general. I'm happy that the 300s, the 300s click and have the winning after that. Yeah, I'm very proud.
So, good on Bread to find the win con there.
Ooh,
Um,
Handos.
we will come back to the Destin match versus Ombo. After that, we had Game versus Bread in Invasion, and Bread absolutely bodied this card. And like you think like, oh, 12-9, that's pretty close. Like, no, it wasn't close. This is like a not close 12-9. This card sucked and Bread made row 1 work. And I thought everyone thought row 1 was utter garbage. Cuz like looking just at row 1, 4 secrets, 50 from 2, 65 totals, counter 3 damageless and 6 reds is not a good base.
Uh, yeah, yeah.
That's pretty bad. No, it was not just me. The commentators also did not like row 1. Do not put that on just me. There were more than just me. I would say most people, other than the 2 people, Brett and Ombo,
The two.
liked row 1. This still the base sucks. I'm standing by that. The base sucks, but the play out of the base, which is just what nobody saw other than Brett and I guess number 1 here. Um, Panther damageless, 17 M graffitis, 4 from 2. 4 from 2 was like the biggest goal in row 3 that like both players needed to win.
Yeah.
Um, Game was starting up 3 bosses and then kind of got pushed into row 5 by Bread clicking Piano Break Damageless, which Game was like crying a little bit because of that because they weren't like super set up for it. So they had to rotate to 5 NPCs and then got 8 Serena and then their 3 boss click. Um, by clicking 4 from 2 though, Game had like no way to cross row 3 anymore. Like whatsoever. While Bread was sitting comfy with Pianta hidden and Butterfly Blue like in their back pocket as soon as they did Pinna. And that kind of just like set the pace of the match for most of it. Um, Game finishes out 5 Bluebirds, 5
Mm-hmm.
Bianco, kind of building up the base a little bit. Bread does 50 from 2, finishes out 12 level shines, which is a huge click as well for row 2 to block that invade. That's like the next best goal that Game would want, but Game like just didn't have the progress for it, unfortunately. So I got stuck into clicking 5 bosses, which then they were also too slow to click 4 secrets, which was like the best goal in row 1 at the time. And then from there, it's just like Game just could not really click a lot of good things. 7
That
enemy
is like
blues.
the problem with the not the problem, but that is like the thing with invasion that can happen when a goal is like very important because like that you have to do like more longest goals like I don't know one butterfly, one hidden that you don't have any progress
Mm-hmm.
and you lose time, so you lose some goals that you want because you lose time, and then it's a roller coaster of like.
Yeah, because it gets really hard to like. It's kind of the effect I had on my card, where it's like I lost the one good goal in column 3, and then I just kind
Mhm.
of like got pinned behind column 1 and 2, and I didn't know what to do out of that because I
Mhm.
just like didn't have a route. So
Nah, it's difficult because you need like to stop to do progress in some stuff, and then like to focus on the other goals to have an option to click other goals.
mm-hmm.
So you lose time, and then the other players like doing the good route because has the clicks,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah.
So yeah, 7 enemy blues, 18 lives. While during that game finished out 7 bluebirds and Bianca shot Mario, I believe.
Mhm.
Bread finished out Beyond Hidden, and then from there, game ended up winning Butterfly Blue mostly because Bread just didn't care for it because Bread just didn't need it. They just needed 65 totals with Noki, and like game still could not like invade like any of these goals anyways up here on the top of the board, and then like game basically has to like defend everything on the card now, which just wasn't going to happen. So Bread was setting up with 12 Noki, 15 from 3 and Noki, finishing out that, and then was going to do Eel Blues. But then game FF at the end there, also trying to do GBS, also not hitting it. So,
A lot of FF this week.
yeah,
We have
Bread,
already one, two, three, four, four.
red players losing to blue players in Invasion 12-9, both FFing on top of Gelato Beach Skip Hut this week. So, yeah, apparently don't play red when you play Invasion.
That's a fact.
Then starting up on Sunday, um, and I don't want
Was
to.
Blaze
Yeah,
Pro.
Bread, insane route, very good route. So
Mhm.
props to Bread for finding that because I did not. And a lot of people, maybe not a lot, but the people that were commentating and me, and then maybe a couple others in chat, did not see that route coming. So, but starting up on Sunday, we had Blaze Roll versus Darkman and Row Control, which ended up as a 3-0 victory for Blaze. This card was kind of weird, and Blaze ended up winning with 13 goals.
Win for like the two options in case of the they confuse the format.
Yeah, so Blaze started Pianta here, while Darkman started Bianco, and then Blaze went to Pianta into Pinna, while Darkman was also in Pinna. And then, like, there was a point in time where Blaze, like, exited area to Pinna, and it was just, like, kind of weird, because there was, like, 3 cannon walls, 7
Mhm.
bluebirds, which I
Mm.
don't know if they finished out, Pinna hidden, red coins, C circles 1 level, 8 from 1 totals, like
Links,
links, like
etc.
yeah, like eight. Like there was a lot of good stuff here in Pinna, and then just like kind of ignored it. Um, so kind of rushed blues there, and then so Darkman, plays the Pinna, plays the red coins, 4 from 2, gets a lot of good progress here. while Blaze is just setting up blues, more blues, more blues.
For real.
um, Darkman finishing out 8 from 1, 2 secrets, 1 level. Again, all this pin-up progress. That's like really good. And then Darkman clicked 7 linked pairs, but had 6 at the time, I believe. And then that got unclicked. And neither player was like actively rushing it at that point in time. Like they both just like let it sit for a really long time. And then eventually, like finally Blaze winning like got 7 linked pairs.
Mhm.
And like that was huge because that goal ended up winning Blaze row 2.
Road 2, yeah.
Darkman doing Cannibals, finally into Noki now, while Blaze was doing some Serena for 2 from 5, which was still like questionable at the time, but still it was going to work out anyways. 9
It
pipes.
worked out the Sirena play here because I have like four Sirenas, 9 pipes, Sirena for Shandy, and
Mm-hmm.
that's
Uh,
a fine decision.
Committed 15 Delfino Blues, and then with like the comms were losing their minds because Blaze like exited area out of Serena or like left Serena to go to Bianco to grab 2 more blues to trade in 70 totals to get 26 when like Blaze was literally about to be in episode 4, which like forces you to go through the casino, which gives you 2 free blues. So comms were losing their minds, but it ended up not mattering. Darkman had to split too much with Serena,
Mhm.
Bianco, Delfinos, Gelato Hundreds, um, and then Blaze finishing out with Serena there. So
We with the
yeah,
7 links click, I think this could be like more close for
yeah, because
them.
like if Darkman wins row 2 with 7 links there, then like it kind of comes down to Blaze like finishing episode 8 somewhere, which like Darkman has like pretty good access there in Pinna, or like a Gelato
Yeah.
Hundreds race, which they're both equally like available to do. 13
Mhm.
or not that at that point, but like that or like a row 1 goal, and it was just like kind of
Oh,
awkward either way for Darkman to contest it, but it would have been better if Darkman had gone back and gotten 7 links when it got unclicked instead of pushing it off for so long. Because the like the unclick was like this is where Blaze clicked it at like the 50-minute mark. The unclick was like way back here, like the early 40s. So the goal was up for like quite a bit of time after being unclicked, and neither player was like finishing it out. So, but row control is hard, especially when you're new. I think row control is probably the hardest format when you're new to route,
mhm.
because like to an extent, invasion help like holds your hand with being able to click only so many things, and then like draft. The idea is you're like you get to protect your early game route when you're new with drafting, early game goals, and then like that helps you build up into just playing lockout after the 30-minute mark. Row control is just like it's just like pain to route when you're new to it because it's just like goal prioritization is so absolutely important in row control, and it's like
Mhm.
not the same kind of way as invasion or just like lockout. So tough card and tough way to route, indeed. Congrats to Blaze winning 3-0. They've been doing
Yes.
very well for their debut season here in season 4.
This is a game. Actually. Ooh.
Very much a gamer.
Mhm.
After that, we had Earthside versus Tanuki Mario here in Lockout. Earthside taking the win 13-8. Both players were looking for their first ever Bingo League victory, and Earthside was the one to take it here. They both picked basically different routes where, and I'm gonna like skip like to half the board because this is what matters. Reading from like here, like right
Mhm.
about here. So Tanuki Mario started the Pianta route here with 6 pipes and NPCs. There was Pianta 3 damage list, had like a deep rocket, that kind of thing. Earthside did Bianco, and Bianco has like stupid good value here with Bianco for Hoverless, 5 Bianco, Bianco hidden, 8 from 1, boss rematch. Like,
Everything.
it was like
Progress through
really
three.
good.
Yeah, progress through 3 secrets.
Yeah, progress
Yeah.
to three circuits, which is a little bit better than Pianta's was. Pianta still also had 8 from 1 progress, but Earthside ended up winning it because it was a little bit easier for Earthside. Pianta Damageless was a travesty, unfortunately. Tanuki Mario tried, I think, 2 or 3 times and got damaged every time towards the end. I think the first time they just like kind of jumped out of the river into the goop. The second time they
Mhm.
got bodied by Pyro Chicken, just like absolutely destroyed
Ah,
by the Pyro Chicken. And then like I think they traded
no,
again
no.
after that, and then they like were just short on their spin jump dive, like just short. So I think they ended up giving up on the goal, and Earthside was able to eventually go back after this Bianca escapade and clean that goal up,
Yeah.
which is really like insane call when you see 6 pipes, 11 Delfino, and like 9 NPCs clicked off. Like you're like, dang, they definitely were in Pianta, and they definitely like jumped into Delfino right after that. So going back for that goal, like you would know they would click it when they were doing it, but yeah.
Mhm, mhm.
And because of that, it's now like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to 3, and it's like pain to play back from this point in lockout. It gets really hard. So had 3 from 4 progress because they went and did, I believe, gelato for their third secret. So they just did the 2 other shrines there. Went to Pianta, did through Pianta 3, and then went to Penna, I believe, and then got that. Got 10 yellow button
Mhm.
coins. While Tanuki Mario did some Delfinos into both Goldbirds. Eventually got 3 rockets, while Earthside finished out 6 Pinna. There's Delfino. There's 40 totals by Tanuki Mario. 26 shines from Earthside. Even with all the Delfino progress from Tanuki Mario, Earthside is a slightly faster player, so they were able to
Yeah.
put their speed to their advantage and ended up just
And
rounding out some of
and
these longer goals with 6 hit-ins and two
and also in
mulligans.
lookout, it's like difficult to maintain like a winning position if you die like in some places that are like so hard to die. For
Mm-hmm.
example, in Pianta 3, you die one time, you lose at least 1 minute something,
Mm-hmm.
especially if it's damageless, and if you died at the end. Don't die, but doing the damageless parts, you need
Yeah, and
to like
lockout is.
exit.
Go ahead.
You need to like to exit area and re-enter, and that is like a death at the end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, dying is really painful, and like especially in lockout where like speed bullying is like it's like existent the entire match. Like if someone's like
Mhm,
just faster than you, it's not like oh no, I'm gonna get speed bullied early. Oh no, I'm gonna speed bullied. It's like the entire card. You're gonna get speed bullied. It's not like draft where you have some protection or invasion where it's like okay, well they won the click that I wanted, but they can't click across the board immediately, so I can like set up a route or something around that. Like lockout is just like pain because like you're just playing from behind the entire time, and it gets really hard to route around speed bullying.
mhm. Oh yeah.
So yeah, losing Piano 3 damage was painful for Team Mario, but in the end, I think Earthside was set up regardless for the victory um, towards the end. So congrats to
Mm.
Earthside for their
First
tournament
win.
first
Woo!
tournament win. Tanuki Mario, their time will come soon, I believe. Tanuki Mario is significantly better than when they first started. So I
Oh yeah, for sure.
and a lot of players, I boomer moment, but I've seen a lot of players their first match and then their current matches, and the difference is just insane. And the meta nowadays and
Ah,
the
and
improvement in the place of
also,
bingo is like
mhm.
it's just so much higher than it used to be. It's so much higher. The skill cap is so high right now. So
Uh, Also, Tanuki remember a little of me when I started. That
mm-hmm.
usually feel like the music part. I mean, like road tournaments, and then someday Tanuki will pop off and destroy everyone.
Yeah, I mean your story is insane. You went from not winning anything in season 1 to winning season 3 Div 3 title, and now right now you're estimated to be a very high Div 2 player, if not a low Div 1 player. So
So everything is possible.
It's kind of crazy.
Mm-hmm.
After that, we had Tober
Then,
versus Derp Space in draft. Derp taking the win 13-11. This was actually kind of a crazy match, and one that we could have talked about, but like at the end, it kind of just came down to the end, really. Um, so Tober drafting, I believe in purple here. So 2 gelato hidden,
yes.
5 links, Bianca hidden, 17 Ember Graffiti's, 4 from 2, Derp drafting, 20 from 2, 15 Bianca blues, 40 total, 7 links, 3 boss. So, pretty balanced draft, all things considered. Derp's a little blue heavy, but that is not a bad thing on this card. So, starting out, they both split Bianco, and then Derp basically just rushes the rest of their draft here, which is a fine thing to do with how their draft played out. A lot of their goals is very good early on, and it's kind of scary to lose after the draft period. And then Tober getting some of theirs right here as well towards the 30-minute mark. I believe 2 gelato hiddens and 4 from 2 were not immediate, but it ended up being clicked anyways like that. I don't think anyone like stole the opponent's drafted goals. I think everyone got their own drafted goals here on this card.
No, except Tober.
Except
Click.
yeah, 7 links.
Level.
Yeah, because Tober ended up going to Pinna, I think a little bit earlier than Derp did. So Derp kind of played around that and went to Serena in the middle of the card. Did Serena 1/100s when I believe they had episode 4 open or close to that or something. It was more comfortable for them at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, Derp actually stole 4 from 2. I didn't see that.
They are so.
This is why draft's hard to read on these boards because everything just highlights at the 30-minute mark. So I don't actually know the proper clicks of when they came. I could use event details, but that doesn't help me read it any quicker. Unclicked. 4 unique. Turbo clicked 7 linked pairs. Derp got 18 lives, 4 from 2 at some point. Right there. So Turbo went and got 5 boss shines, and it's like back and forth. The game was really close. Turbo ended up getting 16 Noki Blues or 5 gelato shines. I don't remember exactly which one that was. It was Noki. All 3 cannonballs being clicked. And then, like, there was a point in time, it's like right here. Like, right after this 4 Noki shines click, it's 11-8 in Tober's favor. Tober just needs 2 goals remaining on this card. They're down on 75 totals by a lot, and they're down on Serena 4 hidden shine progress by a lot. So the remaining goals to go for Piana hidden, 5 from 3, 100 coin shine and secret, 8 from 1. Tober had like a 5 from 3 finish in gelato, I believe, by just doing 2 more gelato shines, or finishing out somewhere else. I don't remember exactly. I kind of skimmed this match. Yes, yell at me. I didn't review the match entirely. And then like it was insane because like Derp just had like a 3 or like 2 or 3 shine lead on Tober in Pianta, and like that was just enough for Derp to just like sneak in with like all of these goals. 100 cone shine was like right there. Tober like kept going for a little bit and then finally like saw the click and then like went and did Pianta hidden, which Tober I think actually won that by like a second and then also just didn't click it. But like even if Tober had clicked Pianta hidden, it wouldn't have mattered at that point because Tober really just needed 5 from 3 or 100 coin shine and a secret. Actually both of those I think, because then Derp just finished out Pianta 6 for 8 from 1 because of having
I don't remember.
Pianta 5R and 100 coin shine.
Tober has progress on Serena? No, right?
I don't think Tober had progress in Serena on this card. Maybe maybe just episode 1 for 5 bosses.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Only.
But like,
yeah, it was a rough point to lose the 3 goals, especially if you don't have like progress to the other 2, or you're like behind.
because like right here, it's like damn, Tober's up 11-8. I don't see a way Tober loses this. And then just like Navy, 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 Navy. Like all those clicks just like came out, and it was like, dang, Derp found like the perfect timing and perfect win con and like everything right at the end here. Oh yeah, Derp got 9 NPCs without Pianta, I believe, on this card,
Wow.
which is like kind of crazy
That
to me
makes
a
sense.
little bit, but
Mm-hmm.
it kind of makes sense with like how the card played out. It looks like just based on the early game goals. So
Yeah, with the Bianco adventure, with the Blues adventure, the Bianco, Delfino Blues, plus Serena Go
mm-hmm.
Blues.
And
Yeah,
honestly,
that was
it's
awesome.
a good block, right? Because like that goal also allows you to do Rico 8. There's 8 from 1 on the card, 5 bosses. Rico's really fast. You can do hundreds in a secret in Rico, so you can take
Mm-hmm.
some pressure off that. Um, that kind of thing. So really good
Pretty good
card
play from
and really good showing
Green.
from Derp. Derp
Yes.
lossless thus far through 3 weeks. Derp has not
Yep,
taken
there is
an
no
L.
losses.
No
Yep,
L's for
no
Derp.
loss.
So
Mm-hmm.
congrats to Derp taking it over Tober here. After that, this match, Libre versus Dingamon, row control. Dingamon taking it 3-2. This was pain for Libre. This was pain. This was pain. Libre basically rushes all of this stuff. 3 boss shines, gets into 50 from 2, 100 Bianca 100s, while Dingamon started Pianta and just like hardcore setup Pianta. It was just like delaying like everything for like a billion years. And like went off to the Pinna, got 5 linked pairs. Libre, 45 totals, already finishing out row 2. Like can't even touch that anymore. Um, Digimon gets 9 episodes because Libre had spent some time on these hundreds and some blues. Well, Digimon basically just did like Pianta to Pinna. Um, got 8 Serena, got 3 Fruit Ladies, got 11 Delfino Blues. Right here, this like it's 2 goals. You have 2 goals of Digimon. It looks insane how Libre like loses this from here. And
Here, when you saw this card, you're saying like, "Ah, okay, Libra will win." I close the Twitch. Bye bye.
so Digimon ends up getting Pinna hidden, like, and then Pinna hundreds, just like because Libre basically just does not care about Pinna at this point. Like, just does not care about Pinna, not in his route.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And goes and gets 4 uniques, and then like right like here at this point in time, like Libre was like, oh no, oh no, 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 I need Noki hundreds like really bad, because if you can see the line, it's Pianta hidden, Noki hundreds, Butterfly blue, 7 bluebirds, 1 episode 8. That's like the win con right there for Dingamon, and it's like basically all in Pianta. And Libre was down like 6 shines off Dingamon just because of like all the slow blues and like hundreds like setup that they did,
Mm-hmm.
and almost ended up winning Noki hundreds. I think Dingamon started when Libre was at either 15 or 16 shines and was rushing Delfino to do Noki, and finished Noki hundreds when Libre was at like 80 coins and Noki won.
That is so close. That is pain. That when that happened, it's pain.
So,
As Libra, as Libra.
and it's still like inconceivable at this point in time to think you're gonna lose from right here,
Mm-hmm.
and it's all because like of this insane just setup in Pianta that like was not shown for the majority of the card, because Libre just had no Pianta done like at all. So got that goal, got 7 bluebirds, got Pianta hidden, got episode 8, got butterfly blue, and Libre already had 70 totals at that point. Just needed to like snag one of these, snag butterfly blue, which they were about a shine and a half away from, I believe. Dingamon at the end almost pulling a Stelzig and ditching Yoshi in the pit twice. But it was an insane, absolutely insane 9 goal route that led Dingamon to this victory. And like,
Mhm.
again, I don't see at any point in this match up until the Noki hundreds click where it's like, oh my god, Dingamon is gonna win this. Like even right here, I'm like,
Mm.
I don't see a victory. I just don't see the win con. Like
No,
and then like
it,
boom, that click. It's like,
mhm.
oh my god. I like with the knowledge that Dingamon has like all this Pianta progress, it's insane.
No, the problem to Libre was like before the Noki handle, Libre don't have any information actually. Only knows that Dingman was in Pena.
Yeah, in Pinna, like whoop de doo.
And
What am I supposed to do with that? Like I
that's
don't do
it.
row one. Cool.
Yeah, like yeah, that is like the only thing that you can see from that. And yeah,
So I
nah,
mean,
there's no way. There's no.
ultimately, Libre needed to commit to either episode 8 or just steal Pianta Hidden early, because they were in like in Pianta 1, Pianta 2 area when they like realized they needed to go rush Noki ASAP. So they like went and did Pinna for 4 unique and then started rushing Noki. Um, but like there was a chance that Libre just like hard commits Pianta here and like
Mhm.
can take it and like just ignores row 5 and just like
Yeah, like.
snags out row 2
Mhm.
and 3 with 7 shines and secrets in episode 8.
Yeah, nah, nah, that was a difficult decision.
But it's so hard to
What's so
read.
difficult to
It's
do?
so hard
Like,
to read at that point in time to do
mhm,
that.
yeah, yeah. There is like, oh yeah, Dingman was in Pianta all this time. Uh, yeah, that was no way. It was so difficult to know.
So well
Hmm.
played to Dingamon for finding the win con that I just did not think was going to happen there. Insane play there by Dingamon. Also, I believe has not lost a single match this season. Which coming
Um,
up after that, we have Dingamon versus Tanuki Mario in Lockout. This was definitely a blowout of a match, 13-1. Um,
uh, Speed Bully.
Speed Bully, definitely Speed Bully, and then like for the first like 30 minutes, like all of these goals right here, Tanuki Mario just followed the entire time. Tanuki Mario followed all of these goals,
Oh, that is
except for
so
like
pain.
Wiggler and 10 Yellow Button, I think. Um, like these two were like kinda, but not like what Tanuki Mario was going for.
Hmm.
Just like trailed all these goals really hard, and then just like could not mount a comeback from there. Like went and finished 5 Bianco. Dingamon sniped 4 from 2 by like 20-30 seconds, and just like picked like all the goal, like 15 gelato blues, 5 gelato shines with all this progress, 3 blue trades, 4 boss shine. Like yeah, like it's just pain. Like all of this
Hmm.
is just pain. Like you just Tuning Murray just ended up falling really early and then just like could not contest any of these goals because all of these are just like progress, like straight like early game progress just out of gelato, which is kind of insane if you just play gelato and win all these goals like that. So yeah, it's tough when your opponent is just that much faster than you,
Yeah.
and it shows. And I was mentioning this earlier in Lockout with Earthside versus Tunic Mario, where it, if you're speed bully for the first 5 minutes of the match, or speed bully for the remaining 45 to 50 minutes of the match, it does not stop. So,
Hmm. Hmm. No.
and there's only 2 ways around getting speed bully: become faster or route better. Which
Nah, but at some point,
both options are not easy.
no, the second option becomes like, no, not value at all.
Yeah, so there's you definitely don't need to be the top speed, right? Yato, you outplayed Despin last season, and you were considerably slower than Despin. Right?
Ah,
There is times where routing can outplay speed, but
ah, yeah,
speed definitely
that
like
is an exception. That is,
assists. Speed assists in bingo very well, and is never a bad thing
yeah.
to have. So,
Yes.
so those were
I
those
think
matches of the week.
I think having like 125, 120, 120, something close to that, is fine. Uh, if you have that speed, you're fine. Mason prove it.
Okay, so now we can go
Ooh.
back to the highlight matches of the week. So number one, we have Peaches versus Dex in row control, with Dex winning with one row to Peaches' two. Peaches did FF out of this. This
Yeah,
was kind of insane to see
was incredible.
the end board state.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Be- yeah, no.
is just like so. Peaches starts Bianco 3 reds rush, kind of standard
Mm-hmm.
into Rico with 5 enemy blues. Dex sets up with 11 Delfino. Peaches wins 4 from 2. Dex, goes to Pinna, 5 Bluebirds. All standard stuff, really. And then, like, it just, like, it keeps going here where it's like, oh my god, Peaches is getting so many clicks here and it looks so set up. Like, no matter what. And,
Like
like,
the next goal here. I remember here. I was like, oh my god, Dex is in danger right now. Like, Peaches has so many stops, so much goals.
it's
Well,
like,
yeah.
what's really hard to show with just the board is that Peaches like ended up like exiting area like 4 or 5 times this match. Like once out of Bianco, I think once out of Rico, 2 times out of Gelato, they exited area,
Mhm.
and that ended up like super costing them. So, like,
So we need a goal about that.
Dex getting 6 red coins was actually pretty big here in row
Mm-hmm.
5. Also one turbo, which Peaches could have had. It ended up not mattering for row 5 because Peaches was doing Delfinos at the time anyways and was super ahead for totals. But like Peaches could have had these goals and like saved them the time of like having to commit like super long for totals, right? Because like 40 to 80 is a lot even with 13 Delfino shines on the card.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
that's 30 excess blues you need to do on top of 8 Delfino shines for plus 5 into 13 Delfinos. So that's like kind of the thing that like culminated here. So Peaches doing the Delfino while Dex was finishing out someone like the 6 reds, it's turbo play, lily pad, setting up for like all these rows, and like Peaches is just closing them out, closing them out, closing them out. Dex like finally goes back and does finish out of Mario, which this like I want to say row 1 has been sitting at 2 goals for Peaches since the 34-minute mark. And it looked like Peaches literally had that row for free for the longest time, but just like did not have any good setup for it. Even though 100 coin shot in a boss episode is literally available whenever you want, and kind of because of those exit areas and like this escapade right here with like forcing this, Peaches kind of got stuck
Mm-hmm.
into like committing 80 totals while Dex finished out Pinichar Mario and was well ahead into Rico 1/100s, which Peaches ended up following into. And then it was like, oh no, it's a 2 from 7 race, which Peaches ends up losing because of the exit areas all over. And Dex won that goal. And then it was just like, oh my god, how?
No, yeah. I remember at what point I was like, when Peaches clicked the 80 totals, I was like, this is so close to Peaches. And yeah, it was too difficult to know.
And it's
The
like,
time to do like 80 totals, something like that. Maybe
mm-hmm,
doing other stuff could do like the difference,
mm-hmm.
maybe.
And like, even from here, right when Peaches forfeit, there was like still a small chance. Because like, Peaches only had 100 because they bailed out of the Rico hundreds once losing that goal. But
Mhm.
Dex had to commit like 3 shines to Noki. Peaches was like up on 6 shines from 2 worlds, and then it was like a Serena 4 hidden race. So like there was still a chance for Peaches to win row 2, but Peaches just once the 2 for 7 like it just didn't want to happen. And just Peaches kind of FF, which I understand because seeing that win con is like kind of pain. It just like doesn't feel good to keep playing at that point.
Mhm.
But it was just
That
like
is understandable.
it was just like kind of like the highlight of the match is just like I don't want to like say like don't exit area, because like there are times like exiting area is a useful tool to apply
Yeah.
into Sunshine Bingo, but like sometimes it is ultimately better just to grab the shine, even if you don't think you're gonna end up using it. And like that's what I kind of want to apply from this match is like, especially with row control. There are goals you may not care about at the beginning whatsoever. You may think that is like the worst goal and the last goal you're ever gonna get, and it might actually just save your life in row control. And like sometimes like just because of like just going and grabbing an extra shine somewhere to set up can actually just like save your life, and that's like kind of the
Yeah.
thing to like be aware of when trying to improve at row control and at bingo in general,
Mhm.
which like it's hard to like directly say how to improve at that, but like other than just playing the game and having more experience. But
True.
like that kind of presence of mind really is what can assist winning a match like this for Peaches and for anyone else that would be in that position. Because from right here, it doesn't look like Dex is gonna win like at all.
Yeah.
Like
Well, it was difficult to
this looks
know.
like
Yeah.
pain for Dex to play out of, and just Dex found the correct route and Peaches did not. So, and it kind of came down like ultimately you can argue like Peaches should have just not done 80 totals and done 100 coin shine in the
Yeah.
boss
That
first,
is
but
the, that is the thing. Like, after like the Delfino, maybe doing like 100 coin in a boy shine with blues, maybe something like that, with some stuff that
yeah,
you
like
can
even
do.
just like I don't know, like Dex doesn't really have it doesn't show that Dex has like blues progress here, so I think like
Mhm. Yeah.
kind of just like have to force yourself to just do the 100 coin shine in the boss like ASAP and then just rely on 80 totals as your win con from there,
Yeah.
at least in this position, but it gets hard closing out a card. I am probably number one in throwing when it comes to closing out a match. So
The late game is like the most difficult thing at the end.
there
You need
are,
to make decisions in like a second, and if you took the wrong decision, you're done.
yep, plus like 50 minutes of pressure and playing. It piles
Yeah.
up. So Dex taking the victory 1-2. Funny score here in row control. Number two is Despin versus Mason here in row control. As we mentioned earlier, Mason played a doubleheader and ended up winning this 3-2. This was also really interesting because like Despin was in a basically a winning position the entire card up until like the last two goals. Um, Despin starts Bianco, Mason starts
Mhm.
Pianta. They both go to Gelato. So the card here is just like you either start Bianco and a Gelato or you start Pianta and Gelato, which they split that, and then they got the Gelato goals they wanted. Desmond got two Gelato hits. Mason stayed in Gelato here for four Gelato. Wiggler, Boss Shines, four from two, that kind of thing here. And then like kind of right here, like Desmond's in Pinna, and just like doesn't have the idea that Mason is gonna go to Pinna from here. And like it's talked about in the post game match, and you want to hear about it more from Desmond's point of view, you should watch the interview of that match. But um, like right around here, like sure you could probably read Mason's gonna go to Penna, but like in my opinion, I don't see Mason like just straight rushing closing out row five once they're done with Gelato. Like to me that doesn't
Uh,
seem like a standard play in row control or even just bingo generally. Like from here, I feel like Mason would have gone on to set up maybe like one from each, five boss shines after doing all this Pinna stuff, but just straight rush butterfly blue, which Despin thought they were really ahead to. So Despin kind of got punished on playing out row five here,
I
and
think the
then
decision of one butterfly is like
yeah,
really not common. Is that kind of goal that in general you don't know when to do it, and where to do it exactly.
Yeah, and Mason clicked it at the 35-minute mark.
Yeah, like
That's
what?
really early. That is insanely
Yeah.
early for a butterfly blue click to come out. Like on average, this goal gets clicked at like the hour mark because it's
It's
just
like
like
the last goal, probably
it's
the most of the
the
time.
the access required for it is just never there. So
Yeah. It's difficult to find the time to say like, oh yeah, I'm going to do a butterfly right now.
mhm.
I know that this is the time, and Mason did it, and that is crazy.
Yeah, so Desmond kind of got punished for that, but like still played out of it nicely with setting up with 4 secrets, 18 lives, 120 shine and a secret, all here in Pianta. Closing out row two, setting up for row four, still really set up for row one, which Mason doesn't even want to touch at this point in time. Um, Unfortunately, at this point, Desmond just kind of starts following Mason around for one from each, and inadvertently five bosses because that's just one from each. Um,
Mhm.
and like there, it's like starting to go downhill for Desmond. It's like, oh no, oh no, like you guys really need to like finish out row three or row four, and like 15 gelato blues for like the entirety of the match was like insanely important, and then like because Desmond didn't have the tie to Pianta progress and already lost 4 gelato shines, so like Mason had like Pianta Shadow Mario for free and then just needed five bosses. So it was like Desmond kind of needed 15 gelato blues, and then it was free access to 20 Bianca blues. But
Mhm.
Desmond ended up tying the progress to Pianta Shadow Mario. So then it was just like, okay, now you guys need to like super rush row four. And then Mason did this play, which Desmond followed, and then went on to do Piano Shadow Mario and close out row three, while Desmond did 15 Delfinos and was in Noki the first time for one from each, got clicked, exit area. Or, no. They got Goldberg, but they didn't get any more than like two blues there. Which that ended up costing them just enough for Mason to sneak in with Delfino Rocket at the end, which Desmond had like no idea that Mason was set up for at the end with the Shine Progress. Desmond thought for
Mhm.
sure they were ahead. And it's like, one, it's just a huge upset, so that's why we wanted to cover it. But two, it's just like the kind of presence of mind thing again with row control to like being able to see the win con. I personally, I actually hate win con and lose con. I hate those terms because it sounds annoying to me,
Mhm.
and it's just kind of like condescending in a way, in my opinion,
Mhm.
when saying win con or lose con, because it's like, yes, it's literally, yes, we call it win condition and lose condition, but like that's like kind of like just scratching the surface of routing in general, and like with that, I don't necessarily think Despin found the quote unquote lose con. I just bumped my mic. I'm sure Jeff is going to yell at me. Um, Found the lose con by playing out row five because, in my opinion, row five was a fine take. It was kind of crazy at the time because, like, you see Mason is set up with Pianta. Um, I'm never going to stop hitting my mic. I'm sorry, people. Um,
That
like the
is the
row
normal
five take
tendency.
was actually like kind of like an insane play in my opinion. Like I thought it was like going to be really good, and then Mason just like shut it down by just finishing out butterfly blue, like just right then and
Mm.
there. And like if Mason
Yeah,
doesn't do butterfly blue, Despin still wins like big time. And it's
yeah.
just like,
Mm,
and then like
the thing.
the following of like one from each here is where Despin kind of like lost track of the route that they had in front of them with um 12 Noki, 15 Delfino, Delfino Rocket, or just like hard committing 15 Gelato Blues into Piano Shadow Mario into 20 Bianca Blues for row 3.
I I don't remember exactly the interview, the post interview of this match, but uh, what happened to me like normally if is like in case that I lost like one row that I was like 100 sure that I was ahead.
Mm-hmm.
For example, in this case, the row five,
Mm-hmm.
my brain is just uh, like destroy. I need to like rebuild after that.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and that day, like probably they think they spin that row three was something that he needs to rush now,
Mm-hmm.
and that is maybe the decision of one from each. That honestly is like a nice decision if you see that kind of stuff. Because yeah, there was no way that the Pina. Yeah, because after the Pina, you don't think like one from each was a thing.
Yeah, and Desmond was
First of all,
honestly like too far behind one from each.
mm-hmm.
It just kind of ended up that way because of how Mason played it out from where they were, which Mason picked a phenomenal route to play around Desmond's progress here, and it kind of just
No,
worked out in
pretty
Mason's
good.
favor.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, was pretty good. After like okay, you saw the butterfly click as Despin. Do you really think that was like a Pina soft rush and something like that? So maybe one from each is not that like behind. Uh,
okay, I moved my mic
wow.
slightly farther away from my hand, so I should try and not bump it again.
uh, Basin is a row control god. And it's,
In my opinion, row control is Mason's best format by far. So,
Mhm.
um, a big dub for Mason here, taking a win over Dustbin. So, and yeah, just again, kind of highlighting the upset, but also just the presence of mind thing in the middle of the card here with routing, and it gets really hard. I try not to just throw this out like lightly, like oh, route better, think better, because even
That is not
in
work.
my own case, I've thrown the last three row control scrims I've played. All of them were 3-2 basically, and I just threw one goal. So, like, it's that kind of thing where it's like you can say it, but actually doing it is significantly harder. So, and then lastly, I want to talk about Despin versus Ambusher in draft. Despin taking the win, 12-9 here. Um, So Ombo drafting 4 uniques, 7 enemy blues, 16 Penta blues, 15 Delfino blues, 3 fruit ladies, with Despin drafting 2 gelato hiddens, Penta hundreds, Penta hundreds, 23 Rico, and boss rematch. Both of these drafts were actually pretty good. We
Yeah.
liked Ombo's a little bit more because it was a little bit more like lenient towards setup, where Despin's like had this kind of awkward Pianta hundreds that like needed to be done, but like not pre-draft or like yeah, not during like the draft period, but like it became awkward if you didn't do it during the draft period. So like that was kind of like a stick right there. That was kind of weird. But um blah 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 blah. So they play out their draft kind of. Despin does 23 Rico, does um right here. Despin does 23 Rico, it does boss rematch, did Piana hundreds, got to episode 2 in Pinna, and then did Pinna 200s, which at the time were like kind of a frown, but Ombo literally hasn't clicked anything at all yet, so understandable. Um, got 200s. Um,
That was like
draft
a
is.
start, a very good like a start of draft. I think like from the spin.
Mm-hmm.
Getting 4 goals of your draft at that point is not too common to see. I think.
Okay, so right here, Despin, right around the 31-minute mark, Despin finished out Pinna hundreds, 200s.
Mm-hmm.
And Albo, at 32-minute mark, finishes out 4 uniques. And then, like, routes kind of changed here a little bit, but, like, so, like, right at this time, it was insane because Albo did Gelato 1 Reds early with this Gelato play, which wasn't clicked out, which is Wiggler, um, 4 Gelato Shines, like a turbo
Mm-hmm.
setup, like all that kind of thing. Didn't actually get turbo early, I think, but like that kind of setup, 4 gelato, Wiggler, 2 gelato hiddens, so and like 4 Sandberg setup. So
Yeah.
they both go back to do gelato hiddens. Ombo wins this by like 15-20 seconds, which should have been a little bit more, but unfortunately, oh, they got the turbo and then had trouble getting back up to get the hidden in four. That's what it was. Um, So still end up sniping out Despin on that, and then clicking out 4 Gelato a little bit later, trying to bait Despin into thinking that they were in Gelato right then and there. And they both went back to Pinna, and they're now basically tied on shine progress with Ambo, clicking out the Gelato goals in time, in sync. Despin got sidetracked by 16 Pinna Blues because it was like, Ambo drafted it, but it's not being done, so I might as well do it. Which allowed Ambo to get the lead in Pinna, and had 6 Pinna shines, and then ended up over delaying it, unfortunately, because of misreading, or either forgetting about Pinna hundreds or misreading it, something like that. So they lost that goal. So that was Ambo's goal right there, 6 Pinna. So that's tragic.
Pain.
They were doing
That is
15.
pain.
They were working on some of their Delfino blues with Yoshi at the time. So they rotated to both bells, which Ambo wins that by a smidge. It was a convincible amount. Despin could have done Lighthouse and won that goal, but Despin just kind of forgot to do Lighthouse then and there. But that's fine. That's Ambo's goal. So Ambo gets both bells. Despin got 6 Pinna. Despin didn't really get 6 Pinna, but they got it. From there, Despin opts to go back to Rico and finishes out 6 from 2. Ambo goes off to go do 12 Noki, which Despin was doing at the same exact time. They both went to Noki, literally at the same exact time. They were doing the same exact route. They were like in sync the entire time. It was such a close race, and then Despin just missed the blue at the end. Just barely missed, and Ambo didn't. So Ambo got that click, but Despin was like, okay, well, since I already have these blues set up, I'm going to go grab 3 more, and then finished out 15 from 3 in Noki, which is good from there. Also got 60 totals out of it, kind of. And then Ambo was finishing up Fruit Ladies at that time. 2 turbo nozzles. That was also insanely close. Despin went and did Rico 6 earlier for 6 from 2, which allowed the Rico turbo to be open. So Despin got that one. Ambo got the Gelato turbo earlier. Despin was slightly ahead to the turbo in Delfino, but got Shadow Mario to go the wrong way, which Ambo got Shadow Mario to go the right way and got quick-ish kill on the roof with the green bounce pad, I think. Which is the good one. The one with the yellow that has Yoshi normally is bad. So Despin Despin should have won 2 turbos, but lost it. So there's a traded goal basically right there. So Despin's kind of crying. Ambo finishes out 15 Delfino Blues, finally. Has been working on this all game. And then right here, this 5 hidden 6 reds click these were both like right there for Ambo. Ambo finished out Goldbird, which Despin did not. So Ambo just needed to do Bianco 3 reds for their 5th hidden. They ended up doing Bianco 4 first because of miscounting hidden's progress, which is understandable. It happens. Counting is annoying, especially when you're
very difficult.
counting while playing is really annoying. It gets hard, even if you have a tracker. You gotta pay attention to so many things while playing at a quick and consistent level. So Despin managed to snag hiddens by doing Rico 2 hidden and Rico 4 hidden, and then Ambo was still in Bianco 3 reds right when Despin went to go do Pachinko for their 6th red, and Ambo unfortunately took an untimely death right at the end of Bianco 3 reds. I think it was just the fat finger of the B button, just took a spin jump dive off the last platform and took a death right at the end, which allowed Despin to finish out 6 reds. And then from there, Ambo FF out of the match, which Despin was setting up for Serena Hidden and 7 enemy blues. Had the lead for 7 enemy blues, but Ambo was about to go set that up and then split Bianca Shadow Mario and Sandberg blues.
But it's like that you see, in the summary, you can see okay, maybe Ambo was far, but the match was so close all the time. It
was so unbelievably close. They both had a really different at the start and then similar for a lot of mid game route, just trading out goals here and there. Because Desmond technically was, I think, like ahead to 12 Noki by like 2 seconds, but then just missed the coin. Um, so that could have been Desmond's
Uh,
goal, and then
mhm.
like Desmond should have had two turbos, but then made Shadow Mario go the wrong way. I say made as if Desmond did it, but it was kind of bad game mechanics that made Shadow Mario go the wrong way. So that goal could have been Despin's, but like earlier, Six Pinna should have been Ombo's, and that wasn't. And then Ombo kind of like had to like forcibly give up 15 from 3 in a way in 16 Pinna Blues because of Despin doing hundreds so early. And then the 5 hiddens and 6 reds series of things came out because like say Ombo gets both of these goals, it's 11 to
11-10.
10. Yeah,
10.
11 to 10 with both players equal access to Serena. Despin up on 7 enemy blues is behind Bianca Shadow Mario, behind
And
Sandbird and
Sunbird, yeah.
Ill Blues. So Abo was like in a position to win this as long as like they didn't just like lose the 50-50, I guess, if Desmond just like hard committed one of these and like Abo like split play both Sandbird Blues and Bianca Shadow Mario like really hard or something like that with Serena. So this was a really close match all the way through, and like it kind of came down to gameplay, I guess, and a little bit of counting, but I think like
That was so close.
the important takeaway is just like mental game, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
and like
Yeah.
keeping your cards close and continuing to play for the goal even if you think you're not going to win it necessarily, because like all of these clicks like 6 Penna, 12 Noki, both bells, 2 turbos, 5 hidden, 6 reds. Like all those were super duper close. Like Ambo also wasn't like too far off 60 totals. Like Ambo was at like 40 something, 50 something, like a little bit under what Desmond was when starting 12 Noki. So like having that mental fortitude in the middle of a match is 6 from 2. Yeah, Ambo was also like basically done with Delfino shines at that point. Just needed a couple more, or actually, Gelato. One shine from Gelato away from 6-2 it would have also worked. Um, yeah, just that kind of mental fortitude, and like it gets really hard to constantly be focused and playing at 100%
Mm-hmm.
mentally, and it's like
No,
it wears on you. But like
no, and also like,
keeping your head
mhm.
in the game and still playing for a lot of these clicks
Yes,
is what allowed Despin to win, I
and
think,
also
in the
like
end.
in this type of matches, it's like so crazy to maintain your brain on a good stability.
Mm-hmm.
And by stability, I mean like, okay, you are going to finish a goal and you lose by like I don't know, 1 4 seconds. Then you do it again. Then you
Mm-hmm.
do like you go to a goal and you got it.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next goal you lose it for another 5 seconds. So at that point you're thinking like, what is happening?
Mm-hmm.
Why all this click? I'm losing like goals too close, and I'm getting some goals maybe, and then you begin to think like some goals are uh, that you win the race, but then all that information passing out through your mind
Mm-hmm.
can like distract you, making to not count good, etc., and all that stuff.
Yeah, and then like there's always like, what if Ambo just didn't delay 6 Pinna and had that click? Like, does
Mm-hmm.
Despin does Ambo then push
Yeah.
off both bells for their Delfino escapade? Because they were on like the other end of Delfino when 6 Pinna got clicked, and they're like, oh shoot, I gotta go do both bells like right now. So like, say they click 6 Pinna right before Despin like right before Despin finishes 6 Pinna. Like, does Despin didn't have a shot at both bells? Does Ambo like then still like also immediately rotate? Like, there's always like these what if scenarios that like didn't end up happening, but could be could have happened, and it's kind of interesting to think about when you're reviewing
Mm-hmm.
a card, kind of like this one and how the match played out. So, I think this match was really good overall. from both players' ends. I think the
Mm.
routing, I think Ombo's route was slightly better than Despin's, but Despin's gameplay ultimately was better. I think overall, um, just that kind of thing. So
Yeah.
very close match, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Okay, that is all the matches for week 3. That was a lot of matches.
I don't know
Now,
much.
now we are going to preview week 4 and standings.
A lot of 2 matches. You can see like a lot of people that
Yep.
are playing 2 matches.
Refresh the page. I have refreshed the page.
You refresh the page.
So, starting us off on Thursday, we have Reed versus Derpspace and Invasion. I would say Derp is favored, mostly because it's Invasion now.
Mm-hmm.
Invasion does balance out speed a lot, and I would say, while Reed is actually very smart and is still a good router, I think Derp is a better router. So I would say Derp is favored, but it is not impossible for Reed to just outplay Derp
Yeah.
with some speed bullying into like the middle of the card. So there's
Yes.
that. Darkman versus Tanuki Mario in Lockout. I would say Darkman is favored here. I believe these
That is
two,
not a.
not a guarantee, but I believe these two have played a couple of times in the past.
No, I mean this is not a replay like rematch. Yeah.
Yes, it is a rematch. They played earlier in row control. Oh yeah, shout out to Darkman who is going to be playing 4 row control matches out of 5, with this being their only non-row control match. They have been shafted by the RNG simulator.
Wow.
There are going to be some rematches towards the lower end and the high end, just because of how
Mhm.
matches are selected, which is unavoidable, I think, no matter
It's
what.
avoidable. Yeah.
So, um, at least it was not playing round robin, so or Swiss.
Mhm.
On Friday, our lone Friday match, we have Blaze Roll versus Darkman and Row Control. These two have also played, and
Also rematch.
I
And also
believe,
row control.
yep, back-to-back weeks they're playing that, and Blaze just won this week in week 3 with a 3-0. So, this was still close for Darkman. Darkman had a winning option here. I think Blaze just
No.
ended up getting the goal, which was 7 links.
Yeah.
So,
Oh yeah. The before the other match, the last week of Darman and Blaze
mhm.
is more close than the score said. Oh, yeah. I believe in Darman.
And then starting off Saturday, we have a lot of Saturday and Sunday matches. We have Peaches versus MrYhatoh in Invasion.
Yeah,
Um,
invasion.
Peaches is favored here, but Yotto is a gamer. I would not put it past Yotto to be able to win, especially in Invasion. If Peaches picks some few wrong goals, like I did
Mhm.
in our match this week. Um, Invasion definitely balances out speed a lot more than you might imagine, or less than you might imagine in some cases on some cards. Some cards are
It's
just
interesting.
pain, but
Yeah, it's interesting how it works sometimes.
which, speaking of
But
an interesting invasion, we have Elias versus Schmidt right after that, and that's going to be a really close match that I'm looking forward to. I
mm,
think these two are very similar in speed and skill, in my opinion. I think, just from what I'm
yeah,
thinking of. So I think Schmidt is slightly favored just because of the grind they've been putting in compared to Elias. I think it's just been kind of playing along here and there. So I don't know if they've been doing offline practice, but
mm,
I would say Schmidt is favored here. Schmidt probably faster. All right, there you go. Schmidt is faster. So
let's go.
uh, after that, we
The
have
next,
RSW versus Dex in draft. That's going to be
yeah,
interesting.
that is a gamer match.
Dex has been absolutely bodying everyone that is ranked above him, and then got bodied by Kata week 1. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, who's to say? Maybe Dex will continue their streak of taking down higher rated opponents, or maybe Rasmus will work their magic and stay undefeated, as Rasmus does. Um, Rasmus will always find a way to win, no matter what the situation is. So that is a good match. After that, we have Embouchure versus Side Williams, also in draft. I would say Ambo is heavily favored here.
That is like a boomer match.
Yeah, this is actually quite a bit of a boomer match. Both are old bingo players.
Yes.
Well, Sid considerably older, but Ambo has been around for a hot minute. So Ambo is definitely favored here in this match, I would say, but I would never count out Sided in any sense.
Mm-hmm.
After that, Game Stable versus Juke Talks and Row Control. That's also a pretty good match.
Game Stable is like the kind of player that likes row control. Uh,
Game
but
actually
just
doesn't like Row Control, to my knowledge.
doesn't like, but I mean like Game is good at row control. I like how Game route row control. I like how Game route in general. So I see like a player that can win a row control match.
Mm-hmm.
In any case.
And Juka considerably faster than Game, but and I mean this, I never like putting down skill or like anything, but like I want to speak truthfully as best as I can when reviewing, and like it's kind of weird, but Juka has like a very high potential, and then like just the I think right now it's kind of a mental block, and that happens with a lot of players. I think in the middle of the standings right now, where like all of them have like such high potentials at routing, and then I think like a little bit of like that mental game that I was talking about earlier, like kind of comes into effect, and like it kind of like makes them think that they're not good at routing, and then it kind of shows in their gameplay. And I'm not trying to imply that Juka like throws or chokes or anything, but it does happen, and I know that Juka can throw out a really good match from time to time. So I'm looking forward to it. I think Juka is probably favored here, but it is hard to say. Starting off on Sunday, we have Libre versus Juke Talks in Lockout. I believe this is a rematch.
A rematch of an epic match of Invasion
from
of week two.
Yeah, which Juka ended up taking that one. Game is a lot more stable. It's in the name. That's gonna be close. Libre has been having a tragic season, honestly. I think Libre is winless right now after three matches. Loss. And this one right here, the Libre versus Juke Talks, was in Libre's favor up until the end. Yeah. So Libre is like super spooky because they're like pretty quick and they're really good at routing. It's just like, again, one of those counting things and then like closing on a match in the late game. But Libre is significantly better than 0-3, which I think they've just had a lot of rough matchups. And like, I mean, also their opponents have been playing probably better, but
yes,
Libre is a very good competitor, and I would never count them out, especially at the where they are playing against the opponents that they're playing against. Then we have Despin's doubleheader with RSW first and Lockout.
That will be a good match.
Despin is
a match to see.
Despin's favored, but RSW again works their magic. I believe in season 3, Despin 2-0'd Rasmus in playoffs. If I'm not mistaken, I think that did happen.
I believe in Rasmus. I know that.
But Rasmus again works their magic to beat players like Despin. Yeah. So And then immediately after that, once more in lockout, Despin will be playing JJ, which Despin took the victory in the first week of season 4 against JJ. And JJ has kind of not been playing Sunshine, but still muscle memory sits in, and bingo routing experience never goes away. So JJ can definitely just pull a JJ and then do some
Legit.
crazy route and just outplay Dustbin. Really a 50-50 in my opinion on this match. Like if I had to lean one way or the other, I would say Dustbin just because of JJ kind of focusing on SM64 at the moment. But that's just in my small opinion here on this matchup. Coming up after that, we have MrYhatoh versus Durfspace and Row Control, my favorite. That's going to be a good match. What do you think about that, Yado?
I'm a little scared. Derp has showing a very good performance this week. This season, this entire season. So, yeah. And also in Row Control, like, they win 2 Row Control matches this season. Yeah. They will be close. I think it will be a good match. But I'm known of taking the OX people down. So so yeah, I trust on me.
I would say, I mean, Derp is faster by a long shot, but I personally think you're probably a more consistent router in general. If you can avoid getting speed bullied, I think you have a very good chance at beating Derp here.
This.
Earthhide and Tanuki Mario will be running it back in an invasion. That's going to be a good match as well. Probably. Again, it's tough to say who's favored in this because they're both really new. Earthhide does have the speed advantage. I would think Tanuki Mario is probably a slightly better router. That card, Earthhide kind of just got away with being gifted all the Bianco goals on that card, but it was like half of what they needed.
Yeah, I think.
So Invasion definitely balances that out a lot.
Yeah, I think in Invasion, Tanuki has a better shot.
For sure.
Yeah, a better shot to do.
And then closing out week 4, we have Reed versus Bread Ghost and Draft. That's going to be a great matchup because Reed is a big speedman. 114 versus Bread Ghost. And Bread Ghost is a very strong router. I believe in them, even though they don't believe, but I believe. And Draft is one of their favorite formats. So with a good draft, good delays, smart gameplay, that kind of thing, they can outplay Reed here. Big time. But again, Reed is not smart. Don't count Reed out. Reed is smart and can route around things. So gonna be a blowout. No, don't think so. Okay, this has been going on quite some time. Let's try and wrap this up. Standings.
Yeah.
Week 3 standings. Cool. Still capping out the list. We have JJ, RSW moving up, Dustbin moving down. I'm still in 4th somehow. Don't know how. Peaches staying there. Dex and Mason have shot up the leaderboards. Definitely climbing up quite a bit. These two are favored to make Division 1. I believe Dex is not playing playoffs, so that spot moves up to Mason. So Mason is, at this point, I think, guaranteed Division 1 unless they, throw the next, 4 matches in a row to everyone below them. But I don't see that happening. Plus, I think Mason's not playing this week, right? Mason wasn't playing this week.
No, I don't think.
Plus, they've already played 5, so they don't have to. So, yeah, I don't see a way for them to not make Division 1 at this rate. Popo's dropped out still. Reed in the 900 still. Abo has taken a bit of a dip due to the Popo forfeit and then losing to Despin, but still a very big contender for Division 1. Yado only 8 points off Abo at that point. Still, the dream for Division 1 for Yado is not over, but
Hashtag the dream.
it is Going to be close,
Yeah,
for sure.
I like close things.
After that, in the 800 era, we have Cited Williams, Derp Space, who has been on
Derp.
the grind, rising up probably 300 points or so, maybe 200. Probably 300 at this point. They've risen up a lot of points for not losing. And is going to be a very high Division 2 contender.
Mhm.
Tober, going down a little bit, but still a very high Division 2 contender as well. Then we have Bread Ghost, Game Stabled, Digimon
Dingaman.
Aleus, and Libre coming out around the middle. These players are all very skilled in their own right, and a
Yeah,
lot of them
the
have a
same
good
skill.
good shot of making Division Two. I believe. Let's see here, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's
I think
say 9, 10, 11,
every
12,
of these
13,
players.
14, 15, 16. So below Elias right now would be Division
Yeah,
3. So Libre is in risk of not making Division 2 this season, but I believe.
I believe too.
Juka, strong competitor here. I hit my mic again. I'm so sorry. Damn it. I bumped it. I barely touched it. No, I'm so sorry. I feel so bad. I'm going to get
Ah.
banned off this channel because I keep I keep destroying my mic. I probably should just lower
Yeah.
the volume off of it anyways. That's my bad. Maybe I'll stop blowing out your ears. There, I just lowered it like a lot. So maybe next time I hit my mic, because it's gonna happen again. I won't completely blow out everyone's ears. Um,
And
I've done it twice now today. I feel so bad. Schmidt, Blazerall. Blazers have a very good season for their debut season. Google Cheese has not been playing for the last couple of weeks because they've been away, but they will be playing probably in week 5. So
yes,
wait for their return. Darkman, Earthside, and Tanuki Mario rounding out the bottom of the standings.
yes.
I have this handy dandy picture here from Mason showing the top 15 gamers of the boards. Once again, with their record, their ELO start, their ELO change, the current week up and down, which is what I kind of talked about, and their current ELO and where they are. So JJ has sank 150 points from the start of the season, which Tober has also sank over 100, and so is Game. Gamers who have climbed over 100 are Rasmus, Dex, and Bredgos and Derp with a 211 plus since the start of the season. So yeah, they've made over 200 points for being 4-0. Big changes of the week. We have Mason going 2-0 in the week, so gaining over 100 points here and shooting up into Division 1. And then Tober taking a couple of rough losses, I believe, right? Did they lose 2? Yes, they lost to both Derp and Mason this week. So rough week for Tober, going down 100 points roughly. Bredgos just under 100 points plus, so they've been also on the climb. Very slated to make Division 2 at this rate unless they take some untimely losses to people either below them or people below them winning a lot of points.
Mhm.
And then you can see the change, the wins versus higher, the L's versus lower division playoff, which Mason, yeah, I think Mason is technically not guaranteed Division 1 for not being in top 6 at this point in time, but I would be honestly
Easy.
quite surprised if
Mm,
Mason does not make Division 1 at this rate.
it's close.
Um, Reed and Abo are fighting for that last slot at this point in time. Yato is still technically available to make Division 1, would need a couple of big
Uh,
wins for the remaining
yeah, I need
remainder of the
like
season.
2 wins and more wins.
Um, and then you can see down here we have some Division 2 players. This did not get changed. Tober is not fighting for Div 1 or 2, and
Mhm.
Brett is not fighting for Div 2/3. These are all Div 2. I would say Tober and below might be in risk of not making Division 2 and being Division 3, but alas, we will see at the end of the week. And then you can see some of the scores of the players in the top end of how they've been faring in Lockout, Road Control, Invasion, and Craft. Game stable notably 0-3 in Invasion, and Bird Ghost
Yeah.
3-0 in Invasion. Derp 2-0 in Road Control. The only gamer to be 2-0, I believe, thus far in Road Control, at least in the top end. There might be a player or two in the bottom half of the standings. JJ has only played Invasion and has lost both of their matches in the season. Yeah, that's about it. In the top end, at least. Everyone else is just mostly 1-0, 1-1, 0-1 here and there. So that is going to round out week 3 of the Inside Line. I have destroyed my mic more than enough. I need to stop hitting it and probably end
Yes.
this episode before I hit it again and then get banned from talking on Sunshine Community. um, any closing comments, my co-host Yato?
Yeah, there was the next week will be so hype. I need to watch those matches. Like the next week have very good matches. I think me versus Derp will be good. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm hype.
So yeah, please join us back here tomorrow. No,
Next week.
Thursday.
Yeah.
Thursday at 12:30 p.m. Pacific, 3:30 p.m. Eastern for the first match of Week 4, Reed versus Dirt Space and Invasion. Thank you so much for watching, uh,
And see
and
you next
see
week.
you next week. Maybe we would raid someone. I don't know. Maybe we will not. Is anyone playing Sunshine?
Sam.
Sure.
Samus.
Why not?
Hello,
Whatever the mod
Mario
sends you guys.
27. I'm here.
Woo!
Okay,
Yeah.
see you. Bye
Well, bye
bye.
bye. Thanks for watching.